Hi, I'm Suzanne Lynn with Harper Hill Global, and today we're talking to Executive Director Neely Hicks. And Neely, my goodness, this week, it's been planned for a long time, and we're so excited to be able to talk to you about it.
I'm so excited to be here with you today, and I'm so excited that this week has come. Are you ready for me to jump in and tell you all about it?
Tell us all about the whole thing that's going on.
Okay, so Thursday I leave for Tanzania, I'm traveling there because we are going to have the 2019 Women Arise Leadership Conference there.
Yay! It's a big deal.
I'm
Some cool things are going to be happening. It's mostly about training. Is that right? Can you tell us more?
It is. So all year long, the Women Arise Network works together in 4 different countries, and we do that digitally. And so this time we're going to be able to come together face to face, and we're going to be learning together. The focus is on behavior change communication strategies and how they can be implemented in trauma affected communities.
Okay, that sounds way above my head. Give me an example of what that means.
Okay, well, we know what journalists do. We know that journalists report on things how they are. Typically, then there can be some kind of call to action from that.
Right.
But with behavior change, what you're doing is you're really teaching people through broadcasts, through media, through messaging, through mobile technologies, and you're teaching them things that can improve their lives and improve the lives of their communities. And so that's what we're focused on doing at Harper Hill Global, specifically through Women Arise. Women Arise is that movement to amplify women's voices, in particular for good. And we're located in trauma-affected communities throughout the world. Primarily in Africa right now, but we continually look at how this model can expand to other places.
When you talk about trauma, what type of trauma do you mean?
The women who are in the Women Arise Network live in trauma-affected communities, communities that are affected by disease, by violence, by sexual violence against women, and particularly in places where women are then kind of excommunicated because they are survivors of sexual violence.
Wow. It's sad. It's hard for us as Americans to even understand that that's going on. So it's a step beyond awareness. It's taking action, doing something to help it.
It really is. Although we have trauma throughout the U.S. with gun violence and all kinds of issues that need to be addressed. And I pray that one day we can actually do that through the Women Arise Network.
Do you have any examples that you can share? Like, is there someone that's already set up doing training that you want to use as a sample? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to use Judith Asanga Yanga as an example. So Judith is the Director of Communications for the United Methodist Church of East Congo. And Judith leads right now the communication strategies to prevent Ebola. And the way that we're doing this is we're working with people who are already in the most affected areas, and then we develop new communication resources with them, and then they get it on the airwaves, whether it's television or radio, whether it's in the local church, using communications, particularly the song that we produced. It's really creating all of the resources that are necessary so that we can teach people how to live their best life and how to prevent Ebola. Judith is leading that, and there are several people in many different areas who are working with her.
Well, that's great. What a wonderful example. Do you have any other issues outside of Ebola that you're dealing with?
Yeah, we do. So some of the other issues, the one that actually began this work was the one that was focused on dignity, raising the dignity for women who've been raped, who are survivors of sexual sexual violence. And this is a topic that's relevant throughout our world. Unfortunately, we see women disparaged when they speak up and they tell people what's wrong. But particularly in East Congo, the church, the United Methodist Church, took a bold stance. And they said, no, we're not going to stigmatize women who are survivors of sexual violence. They are loved by God just like any other person, and we are going to stand beside them and we're going to help them, nurture them, and bring them back into community. And so we've done more than we ever dreamed of simply by amplifying the voice of the church for social good. And by creating an amazing animation with Ferdos Karis of Chocolate Mousse Media, and doing the animation, doing radio programming, doing clergy text messages for preaching, just all kinds of things to help raise the dignity of women. We also are focused on building peace through communications. And that's something in particular for East Africa and for the East African countries in the Great Lakes region that we're looking at for 2020.
They were working with just a pretty nice couple handfuls of countries, right?
We really are, yeah. So we started in East Congo, but we've now got women in Central Congo, in the North Katanga region, in Uganda and South Sudan, and in northern Nigeria. We also have someone joining us for the conference from Burundi, and that is the director of the Great Lakes Initiative, Dr. Asher, who is going to be with us. And we're dreaming together about how we can change the world through communications.
How long are you going to be in Africa?
So I start out in Uganda, and then I travel on to Tanzania for the primary part of the trip. And then after that, I go on to East Congo. And so I'm going to visit the Mama Lynn Center, which is a joint initiative of the Tennessee, the Memphis, and the California Pacific annual conferences of the church. I'll be gone from the 11th of July until the 30th of July.
It's a long trip, but you've got a lot to cover. And you know what? I can't stop thinking about how many friends and partners it took to make this trip even possible, because it's a big investment.
Well, one of my friends, Reverend Casey Stapp, said one time that we all need to dream God-sized dreams so that when they come true, we know that the only way that they came true was because of God. This was a God-sized dream. And so I want to thank in particular Seeds Ministries for giving us the grant to do this work, to do the
You made me cry when you said that.
conference.
It's beautiful, yeah.
And and Reverend Dr. David Lewis and his wife Jan Lewis, I want to thank them in particular. I want to thank Brentwood United Methodist Church because they had a fundraiser for the virtual classroom that is equipping our communicator, Joyce Jaka, in the Rhino refugee camp, and also for Reverend Stephen Bennett, who led a Lenten fundraising campaign at Trinity United Methodist Church for a solar project in East Congo. So, oh my gosh. And then all the people who've given, like, I have to mention Doris Adamu in Nigeria. When she received the email that said, "Can you spare $8?" She was one of the first who reached back out to me and said, "How do I get my money to you, Pastor?" From northern Nigeria, where, $8 is a day's wage for many people, beyond a day's wage for many more people. And she was touched because she knows the depth of work that we're doing, and she also knows the difference that it can make. So, every penny counts. This is a startup ministry, it's an innovative ministry, and we're going by, just the wings of angels. And we want to thank all of them who have given so readily to us.
Neely, how can people support you and how can they pray for you?
So we need prayers for traveling mercies. We've got women traveling from northern Nigeria, people traveling from Uganda, from all parts of Congo. So traveling mercies for the whole team. We need prayers for post-conference, that as these partners of the in the Women Arise network, as they go back to their homes, that they will be able to implement these communication strategies. And we also need prayers for funding. We're applying for grants. We are needing church partners. In a way, many of us are digital missionaries, and that's kind of a new.
I love that.
You know, we're entrepreneurial ministers, and that's new, and so we need financial support.
Well, we wish you the very best, and you are leaving on the wings of angels. We love you. We appreciate what you're doing, and we're so hopeful, and we can't wait for you to report back how it's going and to do a post follow up interview.
Good, good, and I hope that maybe I can even join you while I'm there. We'll see how the network holds.
That would be amazing.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you, Neely. Have a great trip.